Welcome in, you guys. We got another video where we're going to go through the comment section of 1143 and just see what everybody is talking about. What are the hottest theories out there, and who is your guys' favorite God Knight? I did one of these videos over on the spoiler channel, and let me tell you, it was 95% comments glazing Sommers. And I agree. Hey, Sommers, or Summers, whatever you want to call him, he is freaking phenomenal. He's a hoot. So with that being said, without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, top comment. Oh my god, it's literally about Sommers. Look at that. With Sommers talking so much about love, he will definitely face the two characters most linked to this theme in Elbaf, Sanji and Gaban. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Oda could do something wacky and put someone else in front of Sommers before they fight him, because that's happened before, right? Where we've had mismatches or weird matchups. Like, I think back to Eni's Lobby, where we knew that Jabra was going to fight Sanji. The minute we saw Kaku versus Zoro, we were like, okay, Jabra is going to fight Sanji. But that didn't happen initially. At first, we had Usopp versus Jabra. So maybe somebody comes in and tries to fight Sommers initially, and then that is when Sanji or Scopper shows up to fight him. I think that'd be pretty fire. So, right below, they say, Brook, be like, only I can touch the kids because I have no flesh to get thorned. Yo ho ho, yeah? I mean, Brook doesn't even have to touch them. Because when you think about it, right, I'm thinking about Brook's bones, but Brook could even turn into a ghost. He could go into his spectral green ghost form and touch the kids. Or maybe he just plays some music. I like the music route a lot. I want to see what Brook is all about here, man. I think there's a reason why Oda did not bring Brook to Walrus Academy. Why Brook didn't come over to Scopper. And it's going to be because he can solve our problems. Or at least I hope so, right? I'm not even the biggest fan of Brook, but like I said, I always wish the best for these characters, and I hope they show off quite well. So Brook, come on, buddy, bring it in. This comment says, I know it's been a long while since Luffy became an emperor, but hearing Gunko say they should be more cautious of Emperor Luffy makes me so proud, yeah? I mean, we had that back during Egghead, right? Where initially, Lucci was like, hey, I don't respect that title. And then after they fought, Lucci is like, okay, I'm going to fight Zoro instead. You know, I'm not going to fight Luffy anymore. That's too much. That's too much. But yeah, I love the notoriety he has as an emperor now. And it feels well deserved. I mean, we've been with One Piece for what, 27 going on 28 years now, and he's made it far, man. He's made it far. This one says, Gunko's directional abilities won't have an effect on Zoro. It'll be like Usopp being too depressed to be affected by Perona's negative hollows. She'll be a hilarious Zoro victim. Gunko versus Zoro. I like this idea a lot, by the way. I saw somebody saying that maybe Gunko can make his directional abilities even worse, if that's possible. And here's the thing, too, about this matchup that I really enjoy. But in this chapter, Saul says that Gunko's arrow, or, you know, whatever was leading the kids, you know, because Saul doesn't know what it is, he said it looks like white cloth. And it's like, dude, cloth versus a swordsman. Yeah, this is a matchup that I definitely want to see. And all that Gunko is missing is a sword. It's always weird when Zoro doesn't fight other swordsmen. I know King wasn't exactly a swordsman because he didn't call himself one, but he had a sword, so it kind of counted. But, you know, like, typically Zoro does fight somebody who has a sword, and the only person that has a sword here is Sommers, right? Sommers has, like, a thorn blade. Even Killingham has a trident. I think Gunko needs a weapon, too. Maybe Gunko whips out an arrow sword. Would that work? An arrow sword. Or like an arrow spear? I mean, Gunko does have a lot of versatility with her abilities, so maybe she does whip out something that can go hand in hand with Zoro's swords, which would be really weird. I don't know. Like, if you're not a swordsman, or if you haven't trained with the blade before, I just can't imagine them standing up to Zoro for long. Is that weird? No, that makes sense. I mean, Zoro's a master swordsman, man. Come on, come on. So, right down below, they say, Loki struck the tree to warn the whole island of the pending threat. He's a good guy that loves chaos, but not the destruction of his home. It's a big difference. I don't agree with this. I think this might be the first comment that I actually just don't agree with at all. And that is simply because Loki, while yes, he could have warned Elbaf that something is happening, he also set the tree on fire. The kids that are sleepwalking are about to walk into said fire caused by Loki. I genuinely don't think Loki's goal last chapter was to warn all of Elbaf about the impending doom, because he kind of brought the doom himself, right? And then even before that segment with Loki, they already blew the horn. Like Saul, Principal Kiba, and another giant blew the horn to warn Elbaf that something is happening. And then Loki set the tree on fire too. So he didn't have to do that. They already knew that there was a threat here. I think Loki is good, and I think he does love chaos. I agree with that portion. I think Loki is a chaotic and neutral character, but I don't think he's exactly a good guy. I don't think last chapter was him trying to help Elbaf, right? I think there were other ways to warn them. And then plus he didn't have to warn them because, like I said, the horn was already blown. So going right down below though, they say Loki definitely has to have future sight for already knowing he was cooked, LOL. Loki is innocent. Stocks are looking good, especially after seeing Harden's reaction at the end. Yes, like I said, I do think that Loki is innocent, and I do think deep down he is a good guy, but you have to like dig through a lot of the weeds to get there. And hopefully, you know, you said it right here, hopefully Harden is the one who can get through to him, right? It looks like Mosa can, but can his half-brother get there as well? And yeah, I think there is a really good reason why he killed his dad. I think it will be justified, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see that flashback, man. So right down here, they say you and Par really need to be careful when talking about touching the kids. Hey, blame Saul, blame Robin, blame Professor Wolf. That is the way they word it. They say, hey, touch the kids. Don't touch the kids. Don't do it, Saul. Hey, touching the kids, I think there's a better way to word it, like stopping the kids, or, you know, I was about to say strangling the kids. That's not right either. Like tackling the kids. There we go. Or, you know, subverting the kids. But, you know, they win with touching. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. This one says, Killingham instantly has one of the best devil fruit powers in the verse. And interestingly enough, he's classified as a dragon no mi, which is the 7th one so far. The other 6 are dinosaurs and ancient types, while Killingham is a mythological type and an actual dragon. Kaido's devil fruit was a dragon, but fell under the fish no mi. Yep, Kaido's is an interesting one because I think that does play on Chinese mythology and even some Japanese mythology as well, where fishes turn into dragons. There's that whole thing. And then, of course, Kaido is a Seiryu, which is an Azure dragon, which there's a lot of depictions of it. But in some instances, the Azure Dragon does have water abilities because of their fish-type scales and stuff like that. So I can see why Kaido was a fish no mi user and not a dragon no mi user. But yeah, as far as Killingham goes, he is the first legitimate dragon we have seen thus far. Really cool abilities, and of course, I've been saying it, man, but the dream manifestation powers are just one aspect. It's just one ability. Right? He's got to have more. He's probably going to shoot fire, lightning. Like, dude, versatile, man, versatile. Like, think about all the other mythological devil fruits we've had. This is a cheat, but Luffy can also manifest what he imagines. Luffy has gear 2nd, 3rd, 4th, gear 5th. You know, Luffy's over here stretching the ground. Like, Luffy's crazy. And then another mythological one, Sengoku. Sengoku, we haven't seen him fight, so that's a tough one. But Sengoku's over here hitting shockwaves, brother. You know, he's a giant golden shining Buddha. And then you have Marco the Phoenix. He's over here shooting fire beams. And then he also can heal people. It's like, bro, mythological Zoans are on a different level. And I do think that Killingham will have more abilities than what we've even seen. He's going to get even crazier from here on out. So the next comment says, one of the kids in school was like, teacher, that's a weird language class where we have to draw monsters. I will have nightmares today. And Ange be like, no, that's totally normal. Extra sus. Yeah, that is a weird class. I mean, I've talked to people who are teachers, and I, you know, talked to a couple of friends about this as well. And apparently it's normal for kids to draw their fears in class as a way to get over them or to just, you know, visualize it. But you gotta admit, the timing of this is insane. They literally, like you said it right here, Ilva literally says, Ange, sensei, I will have nightmares tonight. You know, not tomorrow, not the next day, just tonight I will have nightmares. And Killingham, nightmares, dude, what? I don't know. I mean, like I said, I've been going back and forth with Ange. Is she evil? Is this bad timing? I'm just not too sure. But if I was her lawyer, I would be sweating bullets. I just would not be having a good time with this one. This comment says, Loki without a helmet looks like Illidan. And yes, I like this one because I do enjoy this comment. This one says, if Jarl's wife was way older, maybe she had Void Sentry info she passed on to him. This right here is something I struggle with here on Elbaf and with the Giants as a whole. Giants live to be about 300 plus years old. Jarl is definitely the oldest at 400, so that's like an anomaly. But let's say the average giant lives till about 330, right? The Void Sentry should be stories that your grandpa would have passed down to you. So it's crazy that we don't have more Void Sentry information. Like, yes, like this is great, right? Like, oh, Jarl's wife is older than him. Maybe she had information she gave to him. But even if she wasn't in the picture, Jarl's dad or grandpa should have said something, right? Like, I feel like the Void Sentry should be as well documented as World War II. Is that a weird comparison? I don't think it is, right? But yeah, like, we should have a lot of information about the Void Sentry coming from the Giants. But no, all they have is the Harley text, which they can't even agree on. They have a mural, which they can't even really decipher. And it's like, bro, like, what happened? Was there a memory wipe in the Void Sentry? That is a very prominent theory. People are saying, oh, maybe somebody with Pudding's memory devil fruit came down and awakened and erased everybody's memory. Or maybe, you know, it's like the satellites and they just erased that part of history. I think that could be the case because it just doesn't make sense why the Giants don't know. Like, your grandpa should know what happened in the Void Sentry. And that is the biggest thing that probably happened in their lives. That was a rant, but yeah, TLDR, something's going on here. Hopefully we do see Jarl's older wife. It would be really sus if she was still alive and it was younger, and then Jarl's over here talking about other girls, but it'd be like that, man. This comment says, maybe when Kuma gets, quote, fixed, he can remove Loki's pain. Oh, ooh, is this? It's a good idea. Yeah, Kuma removes Loki's pain, and Loki recovers faster. And Vegapunk Lilith invents a machine that can take up all that pain without the need of somebody having to take it. It could be like an MMO or a fighting game, or I mean any game really, where there's like a dummy that you can hit and you can test your DPS. Maybe it's like that. You create a DPS dummy and you send all the pain to that dummy. That'd be kind of cool. Of course, when it comes to Kuma getting fixed and this happening, I don't think this is going to be soon. Right? The way Lilith kind of talked about all of this made it seem like this would be in the future. That is why Lilith and Bonnie went to go get a permit to live here on Elbaf, because they're going to be here for quite some time. They need to set up a lab, they have to fix the Stella body, and then they're going to fix Kuma. Maybe they fix Kuma first and then the Stella body. They haven't really, distinguished that yet. But I don't think this is super plausible just because of the timeline. I mean, unless Lilith is absolutely cracked and does this in a day or two, I can't imagine it. And the reason why is because I don't think Loki will be down for several months, as Gerd implies. Like, several months is insane. I mean, when you really think about it, in several months, Luffy's probably gonna be the Pirate King, right? Like, think about the timeline of One Piece. And it's always weird to think about this as well, right? Putting it into real world days. But Wano was less than a month. Whole Cake Island was 3 days. And then we traveled there to and from. That was like a week. And then, Dressrosa, that was 3 days as well, right? Like, these arcs go by fast in the world of One Piece, right? Skypiea, that was like 2 days too. Like, several months, Loki might as well not even be here. So I do think he needs to get fixed up ASAP. I just don't know who's going to do it. Maybe Chopper does. I think Chopper is a great option. Maybe Chopper gets a stunt on Gerd. Like, oh, Gerd, you said it'll take several months to fix him? I can heal him in a single day. Ooh, or maybe Law. Law is a great doctor. Law has brought people back from the brink of death. Maybe Law fixes him up. All right. As far as Law goes, he was nearby on Winter's Island, which you gotta remember, Winter's Island, Elbaf, and Egghead Island, those were the 3 islands that the Wano log post pointed to. So they should be theoretically kind of close. And then we did see that Beppo had to take Law and go somewhere else. So maybe Law's nearby. Maybe Law fixes him up. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. But I do like the Kuma idea. I think this could work, but I just think getting Kuma up and running will take too long, and we need Loki like yesterday, right? We need Loki to fight the God Knights right now. Or at least that's how I see it. Maybe this could be build up for later. Like, the God Knights succeed, they take the kids, and then that is when Loki says, hey, I'm gonna heal in the process. Let's go to Marie Joie, and I will help the Straw Hats. Maybe that's it. Maybe this is a way for Oda to stall Loki out, and we do wait not several months, but like a week or two, and then he heals up in the process, and then boom, Marie Joie raid. Who knows? It's funny that no one can pick Ragnir up after Loki faints. It's placed perfectly in the background, while it should be flat on the floor. Yeah, but maybe Loki like really shoved it in and it's just staying there. But yeah, I know what you mean. I saw that too. Like when Loki's like spread out and then you see the hammer just still chilling right there beside him. I want to see somebody try to pick it up. Like I want to see Hajruden go up to it and try to lift it, or maybe Luffy tries to lift it and then something happens. I wonder why they can't lift it. Is it going to be the classic Mjolnir MCU Thor thing where you're not chosen, you're not worthy? Or will it simply just be a really heavy hammer and Loki is the only giant strong enough to wield it? Or is it because of the lightning? Like maybe when you go to pick it up, it starts shocking the hell out of you and nobody can withstand it except for Loki. But Luffy could, right? Luffy would not get zapped, so maybe Luffy's the one who wields the hammer. I think it's either going to be Luffy or Usopp, right? Usopp, if it's a worthy thing, Luffy, if it is purely lightning based. This one says, saying Gunko is too pretty to hit is crazy work, man. You don't even know what she looks like under that face wrap. Here's the thing. I don't need to know what she looks like under the face wrap. With the face wrap, she looks great. We can leave it on. We don't have to take it off, brother. You know what I mean? Like, hey, that's fine by me. Leave the face wrap on. Some people put bags over people's heads, right? So I'll say this could just be the same thing, man. This one says, what if Killingham fights Usopp and he mistakenly turns him into Sniper King? Because that's what he thinks of himself when he fights to be brave. Ooh, wait, even better. He doesn't turn Usopp into Sniper King. He brings out a real or dream manifested Sniper King. And that would be funny. Imagine Chopper and Luffy's reaction if they see Usopp and Sniper King in the same room. That would be nuts. And then Sniper King could give Usopp a pep talk, tell him what Sniper Island is all about, right? And then maybe that's how Usopp gets stronger. He just learns from his inner self. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. As it says, Hajruden, give me one good reason why you killed Dad, Loki. He was planning to do what these Holy Knights are doing to the kids up there. That could be it. As far as Harold goes, though, you gotta admit, he did build the school, so it kind of seems like he had Elbaph's best interests at heart because he did that, right? I mean, even when the God Knights got here and they saw the school, they were like, wait, what? A school? Like, what is this? So, like I said, I'm just really torn on Harold right now. He kind of feels like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like, he just feels like one minute he could be overtly evil, and then another minute he seems like a genuine king. I don't know. As it says, Ange deliberately made those children manifest their nightmares. The fact that she can touch those kids shows that she doesn't love them. There's no doubt in my mind that she's in cahoots with the Holy Knights. I love that word. Cahoots, bro. That's a good one. I need to bring that back. I need to start using that. I'm gonna add that to my vocabulary starting today. But as far as Ange being evil goes, we'll see. This it says, I think Saint Sommers may have used his devil powers on Loki in the past when he was a kid to kill King Harold. Ooh. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. The way he talks about torturing parents and their children in this chapter, as well as the flashback of King Harold saying he wants Loki and Hajruden to rule Elbaf together, makes me think that King Harold was a good king and could have been pressured-manipulated into making Elbaf more pacifist and aligned with the WG. When King Harold refused-figured it out, it's possible that Sommers used his powers to kill King Harold and frame Loki for it. That could be it, right? Like maybe King Harold saw Loki going somewhere, or maybe it was this exact same scenario where Loki was walking off or somebody was about to kill Loki and Harold like instinctively tried to help Loki or to hug him or to hold his hand or pull him away. And that is when he got hit by the thorns. That'd be pretty solid. This is not a bad theory. I like that. This one says, I think Sommers shows that the God Knight's Devil Fruits are perfectly suited for them as users so that they can potentially awaken them and gain the full extent of their abilities right off the bat. Gunko, straight as an arrow. Killingham, possibly always sleepy. Sommers, his love is like Thorn's outlook. Could be. And this is reminiscent of the Blackbeard Pirates, because they're the exact same way. Like Vasco shot, he loves drinking, he got the liquor no me. And then there's Jesus Burgess, who is all about being the muscle man, right? He's like the #1 wrestler in the world. And then he got the strength no me. Van Auger got the teleport. Like, it could be just like them, which would be kind of interesting, huh? This one says, Gerd said that Loki's wounds will take months to heal. I'm sure whatever Loki's devil fruit is, it will have regenerative abilities. I don't believe for 1 second that Oda will leave Loki out of fights for months within this story. Yeah, I just can't imagine that either. Like, one way or another, Loki will be back up and running pretty soon. Like, dude, there's no way Elbaf gets destroyed today and Loki is just sitting here recovering. Luffy wouldn't do that, right? People are saying Loki and Luffy are kind of parallels, right? Because they have a lot of similarities because of the sun god thing. And Luffy, whenever Luffy was sick or dying or needed treatment, he would bounce back instantly. And if Loki is like Luffy, then maybe Loki doesn't need a doctor. Maybe Loki just needs meat, right? Even Luffy said that, right? Luffy said, hey, let's get him a doctor and then let's get him some food. And that's when Luffy and Zoro had a fight about, oh, you know, we're not going to eat the animals here because they're our friends. Maybe that's it. Maybe we just give Loki some good old food and then he's going to be back up and running in no time. Right down below, they say, imagine Sommers coating his thorns with toxins like some plants. It'll hurt you a lot, and you won't be able to get back up and fight him again. Oh, that's solid. That's a good theory. I like that. I can totally see this being the case. I mean, flowers are versatile. I mean, look at Usopp's pop greens, right? Not a single pop green does the same thing as the previous one. So Sommers bringing out different thorns, bringing out toxic thorns, I think that is a beautiful ability we can add on to his roster. I like that a lot. They say, my guess is Harold was put to sleep by Killingham and then made to fight Loki by either Gunko or some other god knights that might have had Gunko's fruit before her. Sommers probably also played a part. Oh yeah, this is pretty much it, right? This is the theory we talked about earlier, right? I like that. It looks like we're all coming on board with this one. Obviously, there'd be more underlying reasons for all this to happen, but I think that's the broad strokes of how Loki's last meeting with his dad went. Yep. This one says, you know how long I've been waiting for this. The community called it Loki innocent confirmed. Also, the Loki being a powerhouse even on death's door thing is a bust. Yeah. I mean, I can't even make fun of Loki for that, right? Like, if I was stabbed by a giant Cerberus and beaten to death by a God Knight Arrow no Mi user, yeah, I'd probably go down in a single blow too. That's fair. The God Knights are probably Oda's way of giving us a little more life in the Devil Fruit pool. I love Sommers' ability. So specific and simple, and infinite possibilities, yeah. I think this is the main takeaway too. Like, I really enjoyed the thought train that we'd see more mythological monsters, and I still think we will, but I love that Paramecias are getting another spotlight shown on them, right? After Wano, where we saw so many ancient Zoan users, I'm glad we're getting something different. Right, and then we went to Egghead and we saw more demonic creatures, more transformations. And then we had Rob Lucci and Kaku there. Stussy was the Bat no Mi user. Boom, Paramecia. I do enjoy that a lot. So right here, they say Zoro doesn't tell Luffy to let Loki off easy. It's the opposite. He's questioning Luffy about letting him off easy. And yeah, I've seen some debate about this. Some people are saying that Zoro's telling Luffy. Some people are saying Zoro's asking. I think either way, it's pretty much the same outcome. And then we see Zoro saying, hey, Loki was going to go down in a single blow. He wasn't doing too good anyways, so I think that's fair. This one says, I think Usopp will get Ragnir by the end of Elbaf because he'll be able to lift it. It'll shrink when he grabs it, yes. And the thing with weapon sizes as well, and this is well documented, but weapon sizes in One Piece usually contort themselves to the user. I think Enma is a prime example of this, and Ame no Habakiri, right? Because Odin was a monster of a man. Odin was damn near 5 times the size of a regular human. I love the meme of, oh, how did Odin get with Toki? Because Toki was literally the size of his calf, right? So, of course, because he's so big, Enma was also huge. And then now that Odin's dead and Zoro has Enma, it's the size of a regular katana. Same with Ame no Habakiri, which is the sword that Momonosuke has. They just shrunk. So who's to say that Ragnir doesn't shrink as well when Usopp picks it up? And then, of course, we don't know like how it even functions, right? It already has a weird lightning property to it. So if we're going to say, hey, the lightning hammer shrinks, who am I to question it, right? This one says, and the panel with Kid Harden and Kid Loki, King Harold sounds good. but he looks like Satan. Yeah, that's true. You just got the horns, you got the black figure, he's just looking down on him. Yeah, he kind of does look like Satan. Imagine Kirin putting Luffy to sleep and all he can extract from him is meat. Yeah, meat or just a bunch of memes, right? Like, Luffy is a goofy guy, so I like to imagine whatever Killingham pulls out of the Straw Hat's imagination, it's going to be a little bit wacky. I just saw this on the internet and wanted to share it. Gunko is inspired by Rolpana from the old cartoon Empaman. Rolpana fights with ribbons wrapped around herself and has 2 hearts, good and bad, like her eyes. Oh, that's not bad. I think, as far as Anpaman goes, I think Otis actually talked about this in an SPS before as well. So that's a good connection. Let me look that up. Rolpana. They don't exactly look alike, but I mean, the spirit is the same, right? With the ribbons. And then you got like the evil and good version. Okay. That's fair, that's fair. I do wonder how they'll play a role with the eyes, though. Of course, Gunko does have heterochromia eyes, so maybe that's just it, but I wonder if there will be like a good and evil Gunko, because I think that was a theory, right? It's either Gunko is a revolutionary spy, or there's a good Gunko inside of her, which, I don't know. I think we need more about her, right? I'm kind of mixed on that one. Yes, I do see the giant nightmare monster behind you. Just a thought, but what if Loki does escape during Elbaf, and what if Usopp beats Loki, who goes on a rampage by using Ragnir being worthy of holding it? I feel like that would make the Giants see him as a brave warrior of the sea, which would complete Usopp's arc in a sense, since Elbaf is a big arc for him. That could be it. I mean, as far as Usopp being Loki, I feel like that is the main thing, right? If a Straw Hat was to go against Loki, the main ones that people want, it's either Luffy or Usopp. And Usopp, I've talked about this before, but when Usopp was at the party talking to the Giants initially, Usopp said that he was the one who took down Oars, which we know is BS, right? He didn't take down Oars. It was all the Straw Hats combined that took him down. But Usopp lied. And then when we saw Loki, Zoro said, whoa, this guy is as big as Oars. And we know how Usopp lies go, right? If Usopp lies about something, there's a really good chance that it's going to come true. So if Usopp beats Loki, if that's how he gets the title of Brave Warrior, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. They say here, just because the Gorosei and Vice Admirals reported that the Straw Hats were coming to Elbaf, that doesn't mean the God Knights were given it, or if they were, they could have just not been paying attention. That is true. I mean, that is pretty much like the devil's advocate, right? Like, hey, we have this, but it doesn't always mean that that's the case. It's always like the 1% route. And yeah, I mean, that could be it, right? Like maybe the Gorosei just didn't report it. Maybe they didn't have a meeting yet. Maybe they're talking about it right now and they're not here, right? There's so many possibilities, but I feel like if they were competent and if they were, what's the right word? If they were min-maxing, I would like to imagine that would be the first thing you'd report. Like, hey guys, here's a 411. I know you guys are going to Elbaf. Here is some information you would love to have. I think that's the main takeaway from that, or at least how I felt about it. So now this one says, children sleepwalking reminds me somewhat of Uta's powers from film Red, where she could control the bodies of the people in the real world, put them to sleep by her Uta Uta no Mi. Maybe the wake shroom it was used in film Red by Uta can be used to wake up the sleepwalking kids. Remember, in Harry Potter, Professor Lupin used Bogart in class to help the students face their fears, and the final method of dealing with the Bogart was ridiculous plus laughter. We know Luffy laughs a lot in Gear 5th form. I wonder if they'll play any role. I wonder how Sanji will feel about Loki and Hajruden's relationship. He was also genetically inferior to his brothers and was bullied and mistreated by them for it. Oh! I love this. So this is a great comment. I didn't even think about the Sanji thing with Loki because I was wondering, I was like, okay, why did Oda bring Sanji here? I get it. Sanji is a part of the monster trio. And that is why last week I thought that the monster trio was going to fight Loki. I was like, okay, we got all the powerful people here. Sanji, Zoro, Luffy, they're going to fight him. But that didn't happen. So I was like, okay, why bring Sanji then? This could be it. Maybe Sanji ends up relating to Hajruden and they have a heart-to-heart. And he's like, hey, Hajruden, I know Loki's kind of an asshole, but he's still your brother and he's trying, right? Like, at least he's trying to get better, or at least trying to explain his side of the story. I would enjoy that a lot. As far as the film Red stuff goes, yes. I mean, with film Red and a bunch of the other One Piece films that Oda takes a part of, there's always going to be concepts that get redone into the actual series, right? Douglas Bullet was essentially a non-canon version of Kaido. We had Shiki, who is canon here, and he does end up getting mentioned from time to time as well. And then as far as Guild Tesoro goes, I mean, he gave us a lot of Celestial Dragon stuff, and boom, Celestial Dragons are important, and we pretty much got the Kuma flashback, which was a mirror of Guild Tesoro's backstory. And even the Atom Tree, right? We saw an Atom Tree in Guild Tesoro's film Gold, and boom, we learned that Atom Trees can spawn all around the world, according to Ripley. So these movies do hold small aspects of what we can see in the series. And yeah, the Sleepwalking Children does remind me of Uta's powers as well. But the one thing I'm curious about when it comes to what Oda will bring from Film Red into the actual canon story are demons. And I'm not talking about the Gorosei, but in Film Red, the main villain is Tot Musica, a musical villain. I wonder if we're going to get something similar to that here in One Piece. And we have to keep in mind, the man that created Film Red, not just Oda, but he had an assistant work on it as well, that guy knows the ending of the series. You know, it's Oda's right-hand man. So I do think there are a lot of key things in that film that we should pay attention to, or at least keep in our back pocket, right? So now, last comment of the night, they say, whether it's true or not, Kaido being Harold's son makes too much sense. Just like Loki, Kaido believed he was this Joy Boy prophet. Loki believes he's the Nika-Sun God prophet. Kaido looks pretty damn similar to Harold as well. And apparently, Harold can pop out giants with horns, so it makes sense. And yeah, I agree. I do think that Kaido and King Harold, they just look so similar, man. Like, if they look different, then I would be more obtuse about this theory. But because they have that relation, because Loki has the Spike Kanabo, like, I feel like it's all there. But, of course, will Oda ever reveal that? We don't know. And, of course, another thing about Kaido as well is that he was working with Big Mom and did the Hakkaku sovereignty back on the rooftop. That is a giant ability. Big Mom, well, not only is she big, but she grew up in Elbaf. It makes sense why Big Mom can do it. But for Kaido, though, who's to say that it isn't just in his DNA? But yes, with that being said, though, guys, thank you so much for spending your time here. I really freaking appreciate it. And I will catch you all when One Piece chapter 1144 comes out, because it is right around the corner. And yeah, you guys have a great rest of your day. And peace out. Take care, brother.